I was we were talking. I think it was like Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'm like, we got to go and evaluate how he did, right? What he flagged, what he didn't flag, logic we can add, change, how he's improving, all that, right? Like just do a really deep focused analysis of him to get ready for next week, right? And so we plan on doing that at 1. So we're definitely going to hard stop at 1 on the development session. If we get into it in time, even on Fridays, you guys know, if it's not a good setup of trade or we've had a great move that we've caught, we might even end that a little bit early, right? 12:30 or something, but just because Fridays, right? But yeah, I'm looking forward to our meeting today so we can get in and really kind of, not to make it weird, strip them down and take a peek inside. Don't make it weird, Cody.
That was certainly making it weird,
He's
by
like,
the
I don't
way.
need to make it weird. You just made it weird all by your own self. Mm-mm-mm. Let's give it a few minutes, guys. Let people come in that want to come in here. I got all the socials going as well. Should be live on YouTube. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, good deal. I'm gonna go into things here in about a minute when people come in. But if you guys have questions, let me know. All right. Let's see what we got here. Isn't it funny though, in the pre-market guys, when we were talking about it, how you get the sweep, the low, and then they're just keeping this thing in the middle. They want people, you know, people that were stuck here, people that are stuck here, right? They're like, nope, dragging you into market open. That'll teach you. Where's Neo? Oh, what's up, man? Neo's over here. You guys should see him on there. He's not talking yet. He's about to do something. We got market open coming though, guys, so just observe it, right?
The market structure is currently in conflict as the macro 5 minutes time frame maintains a bullish posture. Above the 5 minutes EMA 200, while the 1 minute and 15 seconds time frames reflect immediate bearish pressure and lower low progression. Price has recently dipped below the 1 minute anchored VWAP, indicating a loss of short-term momentum and a shift in control toward the downside, given that the 1 minute EMA is trending bearish and price is struggling to reclaim higher levels despite the 5 minutes bullish macro bias. The current environment shows significant indecision and lack of clear directional expansion, sentiment, bearish pressure, confidence. 3 out of 10. Reason. Recent price action shows a consistent failure to sustain higher levels, marked by a descent below the 1 minute anchored VWAP and bearish alignment of the 1 minute and 15 seconds EMA trends. Concerns. The 5 minutes time frame remains bullish with a rising LSMA and price sitting well above the 5 minutes EMA 200, creating a conflict that warns against aggressive short positions until the macro structure clearly breaks down. Summary. The market is currently showing signs of weakness in the short term, even though the overall longer-term trend remains positive. Because these timeframes are sending conflicting signals, it is difficult to determine which direction the price will move next. A wise approach is to wait for the market to choose a clear path before making any decisions. Patience is necessary to avoid entering a trade during this choppy and uncertain period. Dot.
Mm-mm-mm.
Hey Nick, so if we break this, if we broke, since we broke that channel on that last upward trend, is there reason to believe we would go back to the trend line that's scaling up?
Well, in a normal world, right? Yeah, but we're coming in market open, so market open doesn't care about any of that. So I'm gonna jump into that part of it. Guys, welcome. We're at 9:22. So anybody coming in, TikTok, all YouTube, all that. This is kind of where we're at in a larger view. We have broken our trend line. We did kind of try to come back and retest. My thought was that we would push yesterday and breach this and pull to here. Didn't do it. We held it, reclaimed it, jumped again, right? I'm not opposed to that because we know that this structure failing, right, is going to create an explosive move up. To me, it's looking like a very good possibility. We could end up in like a 3-tier system, right, where you have a push, over, right? It would stay in line with my theory, right, of the blow off top. So as we look at that, and we kind of know that is an option, a few things that we did kind of look at while analyzing pre-market. This is our doji on the 1 hour. We have a high and we have a low. So when you see these white lines, if we are above that, as we were here, getting a close, that suggests a high probability move north. As you can see here on the 1 hour, we kind of identified a channel. This news just kind of blew through it. It's news, so I'm not going to invalidate the channel because it's just news, right? So as we push up and we begin to pull down, this channel is going to be kind of critical in my thoughts as we go into open. We did identify also a little bit of a trend. If we squeeze this channel here with that trend, it's likely going to break up, invalidate, and we go into the bin, right? Anything above 419, I would not touch with a 10-foot pull, shorting it, right, until we breach back down below it. Anything below 494 also can crash really hard. If we get above 494, there's just literally nothing that I've even been willing to identify. So do not short that whatsoever. The market is bullish. Just is. But you got to think about it, right? We're channeling. This channel could stay in play for a while. So we could literally up, down, right? Into something like that. It can go quite a ways. So I think we found the channel more so on the 15-minute, which is why you see these line up a little bit better. I'm not invalidating it because of that, because it was news, right? So to your point or question on that, Andrew, if you look
The market
I'll
currently
let Neo do
exhibits
his thing.
conflicting signals, with the 5 minutes and 1 minute anchored VWAP maintaining bullish orientations. While the 1 minute LSMA reflects bearish
See
pressure,
the lower high,
price is
higher low?
currently trapped within a tight, indecisive range, evidenced by the presence
Kinda
of a
more
1 minute
symmetrical.
doji and failure to break decisively above or below recent extremes. Due to the lack of clear expansion and the misalignment between the 5 minutes macro trend and the 1 minute execution timeframe, the current environment lacks the structural clarity required for a high probability entry. Sentiment, bearish pressure, confidence. 3 out of 10. Reason. The 1 minute LSMA indicates a bearish slope, and price is currently failing to reclaim the highs of recent attempts, suggesting a lack of buying momentum despite the longer term bullish structure. Concerns. The market is in a consolidated, range-bound state with conflicting timeframe signals. Attempting to trade in this environment carries high risk as there is no confirmed directional breakout or structural expansion. Summary. The market is currently moving sideways, without a clear direction, making it difficult to predict where the price will go next.
Not wrong.
Because there is no strong push in either direction, it is best to wait for a clearer signal. Taking a trade right now would be like guessing rather than following a proven plan. Stay patient and watch for the price to break out of this current range with strength.
Where's Lupe, man? He stopped. He called you betting yesterday. Now he's telling you you're guessing. This guy. He just keeps changing it.
He knows me.
Like, get your cameras out of my house. I will tell you guys, man. Look, and again, we're coming into open. As good as Neo is becoming, we just had CPI drop. It's coming into open. You know, things can change, right? He's reading the analysis of what he sees without understanding there's news. But it still fascinates me every time I give this disclaimer. If you guys noticed, like the last few days, he's like 5 minutes before, and even on 9:30, he's like, we're bullish, whatever. And I'm like, and I'm giving him this little disclaimer, and then all of a sudden it just goes up, and I'm like, what do I know? And then now I start laughing because he's like, bearish, we're bearish, and coming into open, and look, we're dropping, and I'm like, man, I feel like I keep defending him, and then he proves that I don't, one of these times he's gonna tell me, he's gonna be like, you don't need to defend me, I got this. Like, I'm gonna give him some attitude in there. I don't know. It's fascinating to watch, guys, because again, this is the first week that Neo has seen full market days, right? Including Asia, the day. Like, he's been running, 7:30 to 4 p.m. or mostly every day with this week, and then he's been running like 6 to 11 p.m. Eastern, and then we shut him off. But so he's you guys have seen the growth in his verbiage, his logic, his even pronouncing words, man. It's like, this is mine and Alex's really, like, it's such a minute reason of frustration, but we're like, dude, why does he, every 10th time he says anchored, he goes the A-N-C, and we're like, bro. And it's such a hard thing when you're dealing with AI to fix, because you're trying to tell it, you're doing something wrong, and then it, like, messes up other things. Like, it's like, again, it's like trying to, when you get, I relate to it like, when your kids get older and they start speaking, right? And, as parents, we always laugh at how they pronounced it, right? You're just like, what'd you just say? And I feel like that's with him, right? And so I go to Alex and I'll be like, hey, man, he keeps saying this or saying that or whatever. And he's like, all the time? And I'm like, no, it's like once every 10, 20 times. And he's like, how do I fix that? Like, like, what? So we're trying to, like, give him little nudges of like, hey, not saying you're wrong, Neo, don't get mad, but you might want to rethink what you said about this. So I don't for the reasons of I'm live on social media here, I don't want to say it, but yeah, we did add some additional logic saying, Neo, we love your analogies, but do not use any terms that could be identified as threatening. Those that were there yesterday morning know why we had to say that. And I'm like, dude, come on, okay, you get me banned on TikTok.
They could probably
He's like,
help
if
someone.
you enter a trade, I'll cut you.
No, guys, in TikTok, this is for fictional purposes. Don't ban me. But yeah, he was literally like, this is in a very dangerous zone, and we're having a push, which in that push, I don't think it's going to sustain. So an analogy would be if you were to kind of jump and you would pretty much land on a knife. And I'm like, bro.
Yeah,
So-
he said this would be like grabbing a fallen knife.
Yeah,
The
or
market
like grabbing a
is
fallen
showing
knife.
a
That's what it was, or
constructive
something like
alignment
that.
with
And
the
I'm
5
like,
minutes and 1
what?
minute trends favoring the upside,
All right, guys, we got
supported
market
by
open.
price holding above the 1 minute anchored VWAP and 1 minute EMA 200.
Ooh, he flipped
The most
quick. You
recent
see
price
that?
action displays a
Now
shift
again,
from the
he's
previous
reading-
low end rotation back toward higher
He's reading
levels,
market open,
indicating
so
a
let's just
rejection
wait
of
and
lower
see.
prices and a renewed attempt to expand upward. While higher time frame structure is supportive, the 15 seconds time frame
See how
is
we're
currently
rejecting off our
consolidating,
channel here?
requiring a clean break and hold above the recent local highs to confirm the next push.
A lot of bullish pressure. though.
Sentiment, bullish pressure, confidence, 7 out of 10. Reason, price is trading above the 1 minute anchored VWAP and 5 minutes. LSMA, reflecting structural strength and a successful rejection of lower support levels. The most recent price expansion confirms a shift toward higher levels consistent with the bullish trend on both the 1 minute and 5 minutes timeframes. Concerns, the 15 seconds LSMA is currently flat with a negative slope, suggesting that micro momentum has not yet fully synchronized with the broader bullish trend, which could lead to brief choppy behavior before a sustained breakout occurs. Summary, the market is currently showing signs of upward strength as prices hold above key support levels. This indicates that buyers are in control and are pushing for higher values. You should wait for the price to break clearly above recent high points before considering any new positions. Always
Talk about this one.
prioritize keeping your risks small and avoid forcing a trade if the market becomes sluggish.
Yeah, so he's talking basically about these ones right here, right? So I love that he shifted quickly. These were low confidence, right? But he shifted quickly to a 7 out of 10. If you look where he gave the guidance, we jumped up. So area of concerns, guys, we have the prior high. That's what he's talking about here. We do have a breach. Close above this should give us some decent propulsion to that 419, right? This yellow line that you're kind of seeing here, this is a channel that we identified, like I said, on the 15-minute. If we hold above that channel, or we continue to pressure this upper part, right, we're going up, right? Now, we want to look for signs of weakness on our micro. As you look at the micro, we have a push here. This push here should have enough steam to breach wick this. If we don't breach wick this and we get more of a hammer close below there, it's going to come back in a up-down fashion, right? So we want to look to see, are we getting any kind of indecision? You know, we do have a hammer here, inverted hammer there, that's our high-low. A hammer here in the middle of nowhere shows the bulls still have some strength. You need to breach wick this. I need a breach wick, close above, and then this would be your safer OA kind of entry from the micro, right? From the macro side of it, we have a really good bullish candle here, close above, but if we cannot breach the prior high, again, you know, it's very, very viable. Then it's not going to matter, right? The pressure is very bullish right now, as Neo outlined on that. You're going to hear a lot of things, guys, with Neo where he's going to say, like, hey, you know, we're bullish. Here's my reason. Here's my concerns. Then he's going to say the summary, which is going to tell you we've instructed him to say the summary like a beginner, but to also outline the concerns of what the
This time, Professor Sneak.
Oh, my bad.
You're good. I was like, what was that? We've told him to outline caution for people, as well as not only outline caution, but, you know, look for things that you need to be aware of, right, or wait for. And so far his bullish play played out pretty good on that. You know, for one of the accounts that I'm trading, I have a tight kind of TP because of the way I do it. I took a quick little scalp on that, which hit my TP. So, you know, so far, good job. Now, let's look at this again. Remember I was saying, let's analyze the micro. We had the push. We had this hammer set up here. Close above should breach wick the area high that we were looking at. Not only that, but we got the EUI, right? So we did get the breach wick. Now we're getting a rear back. That happens. We're talking about it this morning, right? Like so many times. So for us to push and then pull is normal. It's supposed to do that. Now where this pull lands is what matters, right? If this pull is a push-pull that breaches critical support in here, we do a breach wick, bounce, then it sets up one of these is going to break, right? You don't want to take a long anymore until you
The market structure is currently exhibiting bullish alignment across all monitored timeframes, with price trading well above the 5 minutes and 1-minute EMA 200 levels. Recent price progression shows an aggressive expansion followed by a pullback toward the mid range of the move, which is now testing structural support near the 1-minute anchored VWAP. Given the recent failure to hold the absolute peak and the resulting pullback, the market is currently in a consolidation phase within a larger bullish trend, requiring a confirmed bounce before entry. Sentiment: bullish pressure, confidence, 6 out of 10. Reason: all timeframes show bullish trend alignment with price holding above key moving averages and the anchored VWAP, indicating strong underlying demand. Concerns: the most recent move resulted in a failure to sustain the highs and a sharp pullback, signaling temporary exhaustion that necessitates a wait for a confirmed higher low rather than chasing the current price. The market is currently moving in an upward trend but is taking a brief rest after a period of rapid growth. Traders should wait to see if the price can stay above its recent average before deciding to participate. Entering now carries more risk because the market is fluctuating.
See the doji,
So
guys,
patience
right?
is key until a clear
Close
direction
here
is
should bring
confirmed.
us back up.
Always prioritize protecting your capital by waiting for the right signal rather than rushing into the action. Dot.
See, like that, like he never says dot, and then all of a sudden now he'll just be like the action dot. Like why? Like what? You never do that. What are you doing, guys? See this here? I was saying we pull back. It's got the strength. It is trying to find support there. Created a doji, breach back above will give us into a swing high. This swing high was our normal market up and swing high. The swing low matters. If we hold a higher low anywhere here, right, or really anywhere here or above the 200, any kind of higher low with a macro or micro show of support back up is going to push pretty heavily. Now, this yellow line, again, that channel that we were kind of watching, I will 100% invalidate that thing if if we end up pushing up again into this, I'm done with the channel. I'm not even going to look at that, right? I'll probably delete that line. So this is a market open swing, so for now I'm not going to worry about it. But see how we got the hit here, breach above, close above is going to sweep us back north, right? If we get that full sweep past 42, which would be these kind of 40, this prior low, a push into there is going to be pretty violent with that, right? So let's watch the micro and see how that kind of lines up. So now if you think about it, we had a push with a pull. We're still, as long as we reject here, that's within halfway liquidity. Any close above that should give some pretty decent propulsion on that. So let me see. So the one kind of scalp I took, so I took the trade from here on the micro setup I was saying, close above, and so that hit my TP already, because again I'm using tight TPs while I'm trading for with you guys. Anybody take kind of a little micro scalp here? If you're waiting, it's fine, but I know some of you guys like to scalp. You did? Cool, good job. So again, the way this is pushing, guys, I'm gonna give it a little bit longer, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna delete that that line. I don't like it. It's not respecting it at all. But keep in mind, guys, the trap indicator called this trap back here at 9:30, played out pretty well. Now it's calling a trap here, which is trying to play out, but we're kind of in a little sandwich of traps, right, if you will. We did have some confluence of resistance up here, right there. Market open seems to have invalidated it, but not really, because if you think about it, right, we push, we pull, we push. We're still within that confluence zone, right? And see, look, see it adjusted it on it, and so
Why couldn't I just be the other direction?
it always wants to go the opposite direction, Andrew. That's why. I don't know. I don't know if you see. We all yell at our monitor. Don't worry. So if you were gonna take a long, guys, remember this is our high. If you're doing micro scalping, right, you got to do it kind of there, right, and then take kind of quick TPs, because any kind of lower high from here is gonna dump, right? And so that's kind of what we're seeing. So now I would feel
Fuck.
Andrew, I'm gonna mute you, man. It sounds like you're not in a great trade. But again, I don't know where you got in on that, Andrew, or anybody else, right? But if you're gonna micro scalp, on open, right, you gotta kind of trail that thing quick or use TP style stuff, right? This would have been your entry. Would have been
The market structure exhibits conflicting signals between the 5-minute bullish trend and the 1-minute. Bearish price progression, characterized by a sharp rejection from recent highs and a breakdown beneath the 1-minute LSMA. Price is currently oscillating between the 1-minute anchored VWAP support near 25,298 and the recent overhead supply, indicating a lack of clear directional expansion. This environment represents a high-risk consolidation phase where the lack of sustained follow-through after the most recent push invalidates a clear setup. Sentiment, bearish pressure, confidence. 3 out of 10. Reason: price failed to sustain a higher high and experienced a sharp drop, closing beneath the 1 minute.
We reclaim that it's going to jump
LSMA
again.
And showing clear rejection at recent resistance levels. Concerns: the 5-minute trend remains bullish, and price sits above the 5-minute EMA 200, creating conflict between the micro-level bearishness and the higher time-frame support structures. Summary: the market is currently showing signs of weakness after failing to push higher, leading to a period of uncertainty. Because different time frames are telling conflicting stories about where the price will go, it is best to remain patient. A wise trader waits for the market to pick a clear direction before participating. This is a time to preserve your capital rather than taking unnecessary risks.
Breach wick here, close above is going to pull us to there, guys. So that's why I was saying, if you look at the structure, it's not a hard structure read. We have a push, pull, lower high, collapse, creates that lower low, right? We've seen this a million times. Also, think about it. We're push, pull, in a very pretty clean channel, right? And so you can almost kind of take on a micro side of it, something like this, right?
Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
I got a question. So, close above, are you talking about on the 1 minute or the 15-second?
Depends what I'm pointing at. So this is 15 second, this is 1 minute, this is 5 minutes. So depending on the situation, the 1 minute is normally where I execute. Right now, remember, as you'll hear me say a million times, the 1 minute is where I'm executing singular entry trades, possible longer plays. When you're in a zone like this, and I say something like, hey, like I was trying to say it while he was talking, but this low is critical on a micro. So when I pull here and I reclaim that, that doesn't show a lot of bearishness, right, yet. Because now we still could be an oscillation of a downtrend. But for me, if I see this type of structure, I want to see it hold there and then drop, right? And so I'll look at this and go, okay, you know, the market's a little choppy. So the micro scalper in me is going to say, if I get kind of like I did here, right, when I said as we get this deep pull off of some support, when we get the doji with the above the close there, I'm in, right? When I say I'm waiting for the close above and I'm pointing to this chart, that's what I'm waiting, right? Otherwise, I'm going to go like this. I'm going to say, okay, the micro is supporting a possible push. Here's my, like, see how I'm pointing to this one, right? This is my high. I need a breach wick, close above. Now, again, you have to really always understand in trading that you have the micro and you have the macro and you have the execution chart, which is this one. So if I'm choosing to micro scalp, meaning I'm just in and out looking for, you know, quick move, I'm okay with doing it here depending on how the conditions are, right? But if normally if you want to take a safer play, like you're, you know, close to passing an eval, you're close to passing your funded or getting a payout or whatever it is, right? You want to wait for a safer play. Now, micro stuff is not always the safer play. It's a little riskier, kind of quick scalping play, right? So
Yeah.
when you go into the here, if I were to build up the safer play, right? I love this one. This is our flow trading. For anybody who don't have it, it's amazing. Just gives you kind of a, like I can scrunch it here and I can easily see where my OA is, right? My open air, right? And here's a lot of congestion. See that? And see where the candles are? So it's kind of risky to take anything internal within so much possible support and resistance, right? We don't really know which one's going to act resistance or support stronger than the next, right? And so this is where I'll look at this and I'll say, man, where's my OA? Then I look at this quickly and say, I got a downtrend. If I breach wick this, pull back, close above, I got a little bit of OA there. It's about $25. Maybe I can scalp that. Then I'm going to look at the 1 minute and say, if I'm doing a funded account, do I have enough room on the 1 minute to justify that? Well, if I get above that, it also gets me above my yellow line. So I'm cool with that, right? And it takes me to the ORB, which would take me to the high of that liquidity.
The
So
5 minutes
right, see how I
time frame
kinda break
maintains a
that
bullish
down?
posture above the 200 EMA
But we'll
and
let him-
rising LSMA, though.
let him do his thing.
The 1 minute structure is currently grappling with bearish pressure and inconsistent price expansion. Price is currently oscillating between the 1 minute anchored VWAP and recent resistance levels without establishing a clear breakout, indicating a period of consolidation. Given the divergence between the bullish
See how it's doing that, right?
macro trend and the immediate 1 minute rejection
Breach
of
wick,
higher
close
levels,
above.
the current environment lacks the structural alignment required for a high. Probability trade, sentiment,
We got to get
bullish
through
pressure,
here ideally
confidence,
for safer though.
3 out of 10. Reason.
See that?
The 5 minute structure remains
Plus we know
firmly
breach
bullish,
wick pulls.
holding above the 200 EMA and rising LSMA, providing a supportive macro foundation. Concerns. The 1 minute time frame shows bearish price progression is currently trading within a range and lacks confirmed expansion beyond recent highs to align with the higher time frame bias. Summary. The market is currently in a waiting phase where higher level trends suggest strength, but the short-term movement is indecisive. It is best to wait for the price to clearly break and hold above
It is
recent
best.
resistance before considering any new positions. Trading during this lack of direction carries a high risk of being caught in choppy price action. Patience is your most effective tool until a clear trend emerges.
All right. So, and that's kind of how you interpret what he's saying, right? He's saying, hey, we had bearish pressure, which we did. Now we have some bullish pressure, which we do. If I'm going to take more safe plays, I want to look for things like this, right? So we have a doji. We did get a close above. That likely suggests that we're going to push more north than south, right? Now we were going to revert back to our micro. We got a breach wick with a pullback, which is normal. Almost kind of like a little minute bull flag, right? Which should push that. Also supports that as well. The only concern for me is that we rejected perfectly on this yellow line, which I was very close to deleting, but it's market open, so I was letting it see if it validates at all. So the safer play would be that breach wick 1 minute close above here, right? Because that would take you into this OA, which there's not a lot of resistance from there. So why did I put? Oh, I think I put this one due to that line over there. But let me just delete that for now. I don't want it throwing me off. So now as we get this push with the pull, that breaking out needs to get a close above there, which will breach wick that, which then needs to get a close above here, which then would give us enough steam to push, right? On how that plays out, right? Then I want to go back to my macro and I want to say, okay, I got a little indecision here. I got a low and I got a high. This 365 and 275 was that was the news candle, right? The low and the high of our CPI stuff. And so we're still internal with the news, right? But let me look at this. Okay, so I got this one done. All right. So again, guys, what I'm doing, because I'm trying to really focus on this. I don't normally, when I trade and what I teach y'all in the development program, I'm in there trailing things and but it's easier for me to use an ATM just with a tight TP, right? So because I know I have a tight TP, I'm willing to take a little bit off the micro here, because these moves, like I said, with this one pushing up, got my dojis, the set with the buy, close above, right? I jumped in quickly on it and it hit my TP already. Like it's not much on there, and I'm not very high volume. It's like 2 MQ because I don't need much. But those from my mentor session, remember I told you about my little snafu from last night. I've already kind of recovered that, so you can see the one I was down 300. I just got my 160 on that. So just micros. And guys, I'm gonna say this while we're waiting for this to kind of do its thing. I get this argument all the time. This is for people on TikTok as well. You can't make no money on 1 and 2 M and Q. I need to be in Q, right? Well, I've been 2 M and Q on little micro scalps since the open. And you think about it, I was down 300 and now I'm at 179, so I made $400. You don't need to the false sense of I need to trade high volume to make money is BS. That's what they want you to think. That's what prop firms want you to think, right? So you definitely don't. All right, we have a push there. We are breaking down. We did get the doji close below, which is why we're getting pressure. That pressure is pushing it into our micro trend line. I want to look at the DOM. Do we get bounces? If we get bounces into a doji close above, that will chase that liquidity. If this completely collapses, right, it's likely going to come into some steam. Because if you think about it, right?
The market displays strong bullish alignment across the 5 minutes and 1 minute time frames. As price remains supported by the 5 minutes EMA 200 at 25,244 and the 1 minute anchored VWAP at 25,300, while the most recent price action shows a test of liquidity near the 25,354. High followed by a retreat, the broader structure maintains higher lows, suggesting the current pullback is a consolidation before a potential attempt at further expansion. Because price is currently trapped inside the recent range and showing mixed sentiment on the 1 minute LSMA, a high probability entry requires a confirmed breakout above the recent high or a stable hold at higher support. Sentiment, bullish pressure, confidence, 6 out of 10. Reason,
wow, he gives
the market structure is bullish on both the 5 minutes
pulling back.
1 minute time frames, with price trading above the 1 minute anchored VWAP and the 5 minutes EMA 20. 0. Concerns. The 1 minute LSMA trend is currently bearish, and price is moving within an established range without clear breakout expansion, indicating potential chop. The market is currently showing a positive trend, meaning prices have been climbing overall. It is currently resting in a middle zone, and traders are waiting to see if it will break higher or pull back further. For now, it is best to watch patiently until the price clearly moves outside of its current narrow range. Always wait for a clear signal before making any trading decisions.
He's talking about here. So again, right, we're just in this kind of dangerous compression area, right, of that. But this, breakout there should push us up again, right? It's trying to find its range. What I find interesting, and I'm going to tell you guys Did he say bullish just now? Yeah. Well, again, bullish pressure, Andrew. Make sure we know he's not saying we're bullish, right? Because we are, right? Depending if you macro wise, we're still creating higher highs or higher lows. I mean, and really higher highs, right? Because we just did. So we're still bullish, right? We're not bearish at all, right? And so, but he's going to identify where the pressure that he sees through the candle logic. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm about to do this right now. If it plays out the way I think it's going to. So Alex kind of injected something he wants to test to see how he reacts to it, because we know the hardest thing of the download my brain to this guy is getting him to think like a trader, but to interpret normal logic with the logic I tell him to do. And that's a lot of our meeting today, right? Is to how do we make sure he's interpreting what I say correctly. And so Alex came up with the idea. He goes, wait a minute, what if we add an administrator way for me to flag something that was a good call, right? Whether it's a good call, bad call, or hey, we might want to look at this, right? And I was like, you know, my brain goes crazy with analogies. I'm like, so basically you're telling me I can give Neo like an attaboy, right? Like give that guy a pat on the back. And he's like, yeah, basically. Like, so he built these 3 buttons you're going to see, right? Bad call, flag for him to flag that call is maybe not the best call, or maybe he uses verbiage I need Alex to look at, or I give him a check mark, which is an attaboy. And so what I love about his call here, if you interpret that, is we were going down and he's like, nah, 6 out of 10 bullish pressure. And I'm like, guys, even me at times, I'm like, I sure hope you're right, buddy. Because we're red candle Heikenhashi and this guy's out here calling bullish pressure, right? And if you look at what he says it's showing a positive trend, meaning price has been climbing overall in a current resting in the middle state or zone, and traders are waiting to see which way to go, right? Best to wait patiently, clear signal, all that, right? But there was somewhere in here, what did it say? I think it was up here somewhere. It said it's basically the market's probably pulling back before a attempted push at a higher high. And to see that actually play out, like before I can understand that logic, right? As a trader, it's like we have a high, we have a low, we're just pushing up, we need that rear back, we had a breach wick here again, pull rear back. It's stuff I say too, right? So watching him grow and interpret what I'm saying and putting it into logic of how he's saying it is really cool. But the fact that he's able to see that even in a red environment, man, I'm gonna give old Neo. What do you guys think? Thumbs up to give him an attaboy on that call? I think it was a pretty good call. I don't know if anybody took that, but to do 6 out of 10.
5 minutes and 1 minute time frames show a clear
You took
bullish
it?
alignment as price remains
We'll
comfortably
give him an attaboy on this one.
above both the 1 minute anchored VWAP and the 5 minutes EMA 200. While the most
Let's see
recent
what he
push
says.
stalled near the 25,345 area, the current price action is holding above the 1 minute LSMA and maintains a series of higher low pivots, suggesting the market is digesting recent gains rather than reversing. This is a constructive consolidation phase, but entry remains restricted until we see a clean expansion above the recent high. Sentiment,
This guy.
bullish pressure, confidence, 7 out of 10. Reason, price is supported by the 1 minute anchored VWAP and all monitored. LSMA trends are sloped upward, confirming a dominant bullish bias across timeframes. Concerns, the market is currently trading inside the range of the most recent high, and the lack of a breakout beyond that level suggests the potential for a pullback too. Retest the recent consolidation zone before further movement. Summary, the market is currently leaning in an upward direction because prices are staying above their key averages. Buyers are generally in control, but the market is currently taking a short pause before deciding its next move. It is best to wait for the price to break above the recent high before considering a new trade. This ensures you are following the existing trend rather than guessing when it might turn.
He said digesting. I swear. This guy. Again, man, guys, like knowing behind the curtains, I feel like many of you in here are parents, right? You get that kind of funny, makes you crack up when your kid says something that you're just like, what'd you just say? Right? We've all been through that moment, like, what? And you know, when they're kind of learning and they just start making up words and things, and so when I hear him say these new words out of nowhere, it just cracks me up, man. Love it. But in a sense, right, guys, he's still remaining bullish pressure, 7 out of 10. I'm going to wait and see before I give him the old attaboy. I love that he's still identifying chop. His advice is for the safer play, right, would be to watch these prior highs. We all use that logic anyways, where I say a push here, we need to close above there, will give us our propulsion, right? We're also looking at the micro. We have a push. We're creating a bull flag, which is awesome for that call as well. This bull flag with the doji close above should push this to create a higher high. If it doesn't and we get some kind of crazy buy pressure or sell pressure, that's our first bullish pattern structure that didn't really play out on the micro, right? And that's going to tell us, you know, the bulls aren't as strong as they think, right? So let's watch the micro. This is why I love watching the micro, because if you're just looking at the 5 minute, man, you have no idea where you're going. We have a high, we have a low, we're super indecision. There's no clear direction on the macro. We are still bullish because we're creating higher lows, but there's no clear direction. Even the 1 minute, you can see we have our high, we have our low, we got the ORB is set, and we're just chopping in the middle, right? And so there's really no super clear direction. So the only thing you can really do is look for those prior highs and lows. You get to close above them, you go up. You get to close below them, you go down, right? Now, I also
And
like, yeah,
all done for the day, buddy. I got to take off. I got to go to
good deal.
California.
Did you get your goal?
I get 283 on pre accounts today. So
Love it. Hey, I love the discipline too, even if you have to go because of a reason, right? It's good to kind of get your stuff. It's Friday, get out, man.
hey, don't wreck your weekend over losing everything you made all week on a Friday, right?
I believe it. That's a fact, guys. Good job, man.
Later,
Hey,
guys.
yeah, have a great weekend. We'll see you
All right,
next time.
you man, be safe. Text me if you need anything.
Absolutely, absolutely. Likewise.
Later.
Again, guys, you know, we're still kind of pulling here. This get a breach wick close below is going to drop us pretty well. If we do get this breach and we get a pull above here, I would look for now a possible pull up. Breach wick close above would push us up, right? Anything short of that, if we get the close, it's going to push us into a breach wick down. On a micro level, it's still kind of fine because we're above the 200, right? Where I would be concerned if you're trying to catch long bounces, I'm not a fan of going short into the prior day high that we've stayed above for like a while, right? We've been above this thing like all morning. Not a big fan of shorting those things, right? So for me to short, I would need to see a full collapse, breach into here, right? Close below, and then just a full dump, right, out of this channel. That would be like, okay, I'm not long anymore. I'm taking only shorts. You guys remember we saw the micro?
Is currently experiencing conflicting structural signals with the.
I'm going to mute him for a second, guys, because it's important. We saw a bull flag break down, right? That's our first micro bearish break, right? Because now our micro is not giving the bullishness it should have on a continuation with the pattern that was pretty clean. As we pull, though, look left. If we stay high or low with an absorption candle like this, it's a bull trap, right, into an absorption candle saying the buyers are still strong. This one right here now creates a low and a high. Close above that will breach wick that. Then the close above that is going to be strong. If you guys think from a logic standpoint that we talk about all the time, you know, we usually do like those pushes, the pull, the push. We create a lower low, then it's going to try to push again. If that can't break, then it's going to create a deep low, right? And so arguably trying to figure out if this is that deep low or is this just a regular low that's going to try one more time. We don't really know until we look at the how it treats these lows. If we sweep here and then we absorb back, or we stay above our, which we're already breaking. Okay, there's the sweep. I would say we stay above there, right? That would be our push. But if we come down in here and we absorb back into this prior low, right, then that's going to be a big push north. Now, from the 1 minute, we know we now have a breach wick pretty deep into our trend line. We know that 275 is kind of our, you know, trend line area that we definitely can bounce. So just be really careful. If we breach this 275 with a breach wick close below, it is just an absolute nasty fall, right? So pretty good all the way down to chase this liquidity down here. So let's see how this acts. I see if this is a trap or a fake out, right? We have all these lows here. Now we're below them. If this wants to be bearish, it needs to stay below them. Any kind of deep reclaim is going to come pretty violently, right? Because now you've done what we talked about, right? Where you have the breach, lower low, and then it's going to come up for one more time, right? For me, that still remains possible, as bearish as that looks, as long as we stay above here. Right, as long as we stay above here, we're still within that internal range. So let's see. Just looking at a couple of my stuff here. So we got a good bounce off of that, which I believe is view up on my micro. Let's take a look at it. Right, we're in the view up of the micro. We did kind of break out of our congestion. Again, if it wants to stay very bearish, it's got to stay below these lows. We did breach above it a little, then we lost it. It's kind of testing it a little. Watch the DOM. Right, this is going to tell you everything. If we're getting DOM jumps in an area that's below these lows, it's more trap, right? But if we're getting DOM drops, then it's not, right? So let's take a look at it. This is going to be a big candle because if this breaches it, closes below, it's going to drop. If it bounces with any kind of absorption, now we're micro double bottom, right? So let's take a look at it. I don't see anything else on there. We did get a trap call there. I didn't even notice that. And so that played out pretty well. Oh, wait, no, this was the one from open. So that trap area has actually been pretty good. I wasn't looking at it again. Our confluence reset is playing out pretty well as well. We also reset our fib, it looks like, on there. So it is calling that as a 382, which is why we're rejecting into those levels. So let's just watch the DOM. Let's see what this thing wants to do, guys. Again, if you're looking for a long kind of setup, because I don't take shorts below while I'm above this. Again, you know, we want to look for these pushes. Now, the safer play would be the OA here, because there's really not a lot blocking it, right? And so you'd want to have this kind of double bottom, breach up, breach wick, close above, and then take the safer play. Anything in here is just, it's so tight. So let me unmute Neo again. His last thing was the market is currently stuck in a confusing pattern where long trends want to move higher, but short-term price action movement is dragging lower because there are different time frames and disagreement. It's best to remain patient and avoid trading until they align. Trying to jump in right now would be like guessing which way a coin will land while it's still in the air.
The market structure is
dude,
currently
man.
exhibiting bearish pressure as price action has broken below the 5 minutes in 1 minute LSMA levels, and the most recent move reflects
Oh
a
my
failure to
God.
sustain higher
This dude
levels
cracks
after a
me up,
rejection
man.
near the 2,534
Very wiki here, guys.
zero zone,
Close
with
above
price
here
trading
is
below the
gonna jump
1
back
minute
to
anchored
Lisma.
VWAP and the 1 minute EMA trend aligned to. The downside, the structure is forming a series of lower highs and lower lows, indicating a clear bearish bias. This setup lacks the necessary structural strength for a long entry, and any potential short requires a clear confirmation of further breakdown below the recent lows. Sentiment: bearish pressure, confidence, 7 out of 10. Reason: the market has failed to reclaim the 1 minute LSMA and is currently testing structural support near the 286 level while maintaining a bearish EMA trend across all observed timeframes. Concerns: the price is hovering near key structural support, and the proximity to the 5 minutes EMA 200 level suggests a potential for a sharp, reflexive bounce if sellers fail to achieve immediate expansion. Summary: the market is currently moving downward, meaning most participants are selling rather than buying. Prices are struggling to get back above key average levels, which shows the sellers are in control. It is best to wait for a clear, strong move before making any decisions, as rushing into the market now could be risky. Always prioritize keeping your capital safe over trying to chase quick profits.
No, not terrible advice. Micro's getting our compression. You guys see that? Close breach wick here, close below. Is going to drop us. Breach wick here, close above. Should pump us right once we get out of expansion. Where we are in the 1 minute, we're rejecting on the 200. That's not ideal for a push, but we are still holding a lot of pressure to the 200. It didn't ever get here. So to me, that doesn't show yet extreme weakness. Doesn't show extreme strength. So he's not really wrong, right, on that front. So we're starting to sweep here. I need to see a deep bounce here, guys, or this is it's gonna get real, right? So let's watch the DOM. And let's see what the DOM wants to do here. If it's going to give us our bounce or does it want to break down.
Hey Nick, where was that trend line again? I think you had it on the 1 minute.
Yeah, it's just this stack here, pulling that whole thing up, right? And so it's bouncing right off it. See how we're getting the bounce? So this is where, this is going to be big for me, guys, because if we want to go up, we've now tested our apex pocket. To get a bounce here, right, now we have a absorption candle, a hammer, right? So if we can come up enough to breach that, this is a reversal candle off of a trendline support, off of our doji, remember from the high time frame that it's trying to stay above. So any kind of reclaim above there, plus we got Lisma kind of curling down, right? So as Lisma curls down, that'll set up a possible breach way to close above that. You know, if out of nowhere we get DOM drops, and we, you know, now that we've kind of breached here and it closes below there, I mean, it's a pretty hefty fall, right? So, you know, safer play if you're not laddering or doing kind of defensive plays would be to get, again, up in this range here, right? Get through all this mess, right? Now, again, the reason why I'm not talking about shorts is because we are bouncing perfectly off the prior day high. That does not scream short. Let's watch it. I'm kind of watching the DOM, trying to see how it wants to act. Because again, right, we're in a low area that's should be a really good support, right? If we breach that though, it's going to flip into a really big resistance. So, but where this trend line is, mixed with where that doji is, mixed with where the prior day high is, it would make more sense to me for them to maybe sweep it, reclaim it, and then jump than to just dump. But yeah, we'll see. It's definitely not showing the strength that I would like to see yet. Again, you guys know I've used this logic a lot.
The market is exhibiting significant indecision trapped within a tight range, as evidenced by price. Oscillating around the 1 minute anchored VWAP and failing to reclaim the 1 minute LSMA. While the 5 minutes LSMA remains slightly bullish, the 1 minute and 15 seconds timeframes show consistent bearish pressure, characterized by repeated failures to hold higher. Prices and liquidity sweeps near the recent lows. Structure is currently failing to establish a clear trend, keeping price pinned between the 5 MEMA 200 and the 1 minute resistance levels. Sentiment. Bearish pressure. Confidence. 3 out of 10. Reason. The market is consistently failing to hold gains above the 1 minute anchored VWAP.
Gains!
And multiple attempts to break higher have been rejected, indicating a lack of buying interest. The alignment of the 15 S and 1 minute EMA trends to the downside confirms that sellers are currently in control of the immediate price action. Concerns. The market is in a chop environment with price trading in a narrow range. There is no clear expansion. Beyond the recent lows, and the proximity to the 5 minutes EMA 200 support creates a high probability of a reversal or liquidity trap if attempting to chase downside movement. Summary. The market is currently moving sideways without a clear direction, making it very risky to trade. Prices are stuck in a narrow zone, and there is no strong push.
I'd be curious if
in
we
either
close
direction
here and
to suggest a
jump, 'cause
reliable path
how you said
forward.
trap.
It is best to remain patient and wait for price to break
That would be
cleanly
kinda
out
cool.
of this range with
I'll give him
conviction.
an attaboy if he does.
Jumping into the market now could lead to unnecessary losses during this period of confusion.
Yeah, if we get this close below and then we just landmine up, I'm giving him an attaboy. Because see, notice how he said, right? When you're going into these areas, right, they could be setting up a liquidity trap, right? And so if you look at the 15-second, I want to interpret that. I mean, we're pretty sell on our stuff, but we're also channeling. You guys see that? So if we break up on this channel, then he's not wrong, right? We just got to, oops, on the micro. Oh my goodness, I'm all over the place on that line. Just delete it. You guys see it low right there. But see, on the micro, we got a pull into the prior day, and then we bounce. So because we pushed it in there, if we get a good, decent jump, man, I'm giving him an attaboy, because he literally just called that as like, I see this recent pullback, but it could be a liquidity trap. So if we get a good jump here, man, we're giving him like, I don't know. I feel like I need to tell Alex, like, I need to have a decision thing that I can give him an attaboy, but I can also give him a, like, you are a freaking rock star. You are a superstar. Like, I need to, sometimes I feel like the attaboy might not be enough if it's really good. And look at it, man. Look at the DOM pressure just pushing. We don't know if it's, break, retest of the 200 until we see if it, breach wick, close above. But look at this shit going up. This dude. Let me ask you guys a question. Anybody who's thinking about shorting here, did at least his advice plus me saying that keep you out of this landmine that just came through? I'm just curious. Throw a thumbs up if it did. Okay. Because, I mean, and honestly, right, how many times I would have thought, like, hey, we got lower highs, lower lows, we just got to close below our low. Boom, we just broke our prior day high. Like, I'm short, guys. Like, let's roll. And to see, again, to see him call not only the fact that we're moving up, right, but he, to call the fact that, that, hey, this is a possible short is so freaking cool, guys. So be careful, though. We do have the trap that he just called was legit, dude. I love it. And if we look at 905 or 1005, that was back here when he said 7 out of 10 bearish. Played out, guys. I mean, that was like a 20 some odd drop. Notice his confidence level changed, right? See how it's high? So I'm good with his bearish call here, right? So I'm going to give him a little attaboy on that because I think it was a good call, even though I didn't take it. Him doing his lower pressure and identifying like, hey, I have concerns that this could be a trap, and then watching it play out as a trap is also legit. So I think I'm still going to give him a little attaboy there. I feel like he's going to get quite a bit of attaboys, but I'm good with it. Let's see. Take a quick look at
Definitely
some.
saved my ass on that trade. That was amazing.
Sick, huh? It's so
Put that
ridiculous.
all the way up.
Yeah, I got.
And earlier, I don't know if you caught that, but he said zero concerns going down or something like that. And when I heard him say zero
The
concerns,
market is displaying an aggressive push toward the upside.
I'll mute it. You can finish if you want. Oh yeah, it's insane. It's crazy. So again, guys, remember the channel I saw falling correlated with his trap call. A few of my accounts, I'm taking a little more risks on it. As we got the close here, I got my profit within there. My next entry I'm waiting on would be my micro breach wick, close above, and then I'll jump in again, right, from it. But I'm just doing a little quick scalp. So I'm going to read it to you since we muted him. The market is currently showing positive momentum as buyers are pushing the price higher. Generally safer to wait, stay out recent highs before considering a move. Avoid chasing price. Moves too quickly as it often pulls back before continuing its path. Focus on staying aligned, right? And so he's not wrong, right? A lot of times we get this push, we get a little decent pull. We know a lot of times we get a breach wick and we get a pull. So he's not wrong. So that kind of lines up with, make sure as it's pushing, you get a close above that prior highs. In a nutshell, what he's saying. But
Summary. The market is currently showing positive momentum
apparently he
as
was still
buyers
reading.
are pushing
Let him read.
the price higher. It is generally safer to wait for the price to consistently stay above recent highs before considering a move. Avoid chasing the price when it moves too quickly, as it often pulls back before continuing its path. Focus on staying aligned with the overall upward trend until the structure changes.
I'm just looking at a couple things here, guys. But yeah, man, it for those of you guys on TikTok, man, this is his first true week, right, of seeing all this stuff, and you guys in the room, I mean, you guys, again, I love transparency. I want y'all keeping me honest. I mean, I can't think of any like really bad calls where I'm like, he had high confidence, very low concerns, and it just went the wrong way. I mean, have you guys seen any? Maybe I missed them. I don't watch them all the time. I'm just curious. No?
For the most part, he's been on. I think yesterday he had one that was a little offset. I think it was like a 6 out of 10 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, it's been like caution. The after like the summary, it's been on.
Yeah. And that's why, like, I've guys, he won't always be by our side and open. I don't know, maybe he will. Shoot, I kind of enjoy like interpreting and maybe I will do that, right? But the intent was not to have him on during these sessions. The intent was to have him be available to you all, to trade with, right, when I'm not on, because I get that a lot where people are like, dang, they couldn't trade in the morning, right? And they wanted to trade in the afternoon or whatever. And so I know a lot of people like that, right? And so that's why we kind of were wanting to push this use case, right? But considering it's his first full week, man, and he didn't even see market open until Monday. He was only tested really in Asia. And so the fact that he's navigating through market open, and I love, so one thing you mentioned there, Lupe, like I always love to hone in on words used, right? Is you mentioned, the only one that you can think of was one that was a 6 out of 10 that kind of went a little bit the other way, but kind of watching the summary on that, right? But look, if everybody in this room here can only identify one or two calls that he got maybe really wrong in a market open type scenario, that's a whole lot better than shit me or really any of you do half the time, right? Like, y'all sit there think about how you trade market open, how many times y'all been wrecked, right? And for him to be new, I mean, he's got logic in there that's telling him, you're a new trader, man, but I need you to learn quickly and act like an expert. And it's just I know many of you have expressed this, but it's such a pleasure to kind of watch him grow, as as he does these things. But Brent, did you have a comment you want to make on it?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, my microphones are all messed up. I just wanted to say something. I don't know who it was that commented about the zero concerns. I bumped on that too, and he didn't actually
The
say
market
zero
exhibits
concerns.
bullish structural alignment.
I'll mute him. Go ahead.
He said something like 0 concerns.
Yeah. He did. I noticed that too. When he says, you got to kind of watch that, right? Because remember, the concerns, when he says 0 concerns, truly, it's in there. Every now and then, I don't know why, guys, and look, I don't know if I'm going to call him in his terrible twos, where he just ain't listening. But when he mispronounces things often or a lot or always, we can tell him, like, hey, you're doing this one wrong. You need to do this. Like, here's how you want to do it. But there's some things that, like, he'll be like, the EMA 200 is this. And, like, he'll say it all day, right? And then every now and then he'll go, like, the EMA 2 or 20, 0 signaling. And I'm like,
Is there a way to change the text so it's a number is actually written?
It doesn't matter. AI is funny, man. We've tried to do. We've improved his language by adjusting some things in the context or text or like telling him, like, hey, you need to, buy a vowel in this, buddy. AI is so weird, man. It's not as black and white as you would think, where it's like anybody who's done voice altering or audio, right? Sometimes you just, on the back end, you just say something a little different or stretch it out or put a few extra letters or something, and then they pronounce it better with AI. It's a little different with him. He doesn't, like guys, how many times has he read this entire thing with all these little periods around, and then every now and then he'll go, the immediate aggressive edge, dot, and I'm like, you mother, like you're doing that shit on purpose, because
He's trolling.
and you guys know, anybody who has any AI experience, right? When I go back to Alex and I go, hey man, he keeps saying dot at the end of the thing. He's like, bro, there's like 15 periods in here, and he doesn't say it on any other ones. Like even here, he doesn't say reversal dot, right? So we're trying to figure out like what's even making his ass go off the rails like that on some of these things, right? And you know, but we'll get it. He's growing, you know, like I said, coding is not new to Alex. He's amazing at it. As you guys all see from the website, he's created in such a short amount of time. In the AI, you know, but even him, you know, sometimes, you know, he like scratches his head like, I don't know why he said that shit. Like, like it's just, so we're still playing with it. So be patient. It's like getting mad at a 2-year-old for pronouncing something wrong, right? That's the way I see it right now. But like your AI's stupid. He says 200 and dots. Like I'd be like, you know, call my 2-year-old stupid. We got words.
Yeah, but he also kept you out of that landmine short.
Oh, dude, did he not? I forgot to go back on that. Like, he literally called that. He goes, and what was so crazy, and this is what is behind the scenes, you know, again, blowing my mind of it, knowing a little behind the curtain, is he said, like, let's get the exact time. I don't want to fluff anything. It's right here. Right there. Well, no, I lied. Right there. Right there. I think it was the 10-10 call. He's like, you know, bullish pressure. And I'm like, where are you seeing bullish pressure, right? Even I was like, and then I kind of read the rest of it, and he's like, seeing a little bullish pressure, which could lead into a potential trap. Like, y'all, I don't even know how, because you know I'm big on dom jumps, pressure, candles, something. Like, how did you get bullish pressure when my micro candles are still red? Like, I was actually looking at it thinking, like I had an anticipation we would jump because of the prior day high, right? But I wouldn't have called that here. And for him to call pressure with it still going down, even me, I'm like looking at this like, man, if this drops, I'm about to flag this wrong, like day one of being able to flag it, right? And but the correlation of him seeing pressure so early coming in, and the correlation of him calling this a bearish trap, right? Which I said, right, we got the close below. A lot of people would have went short there, and where I want to go back, maybe even make sure I give him an attaboy, is look how high we went on his trap call. Like, insane, guys. It's just so fascinating to watch. I know you guys, you know, Brent, I know you love this kind of stuff too, and it's really cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when he coincides with the traps, that's a good strong one too. Like if he's starting to talk, make a move and it coincides with hitting one of your traps, that's a real nice play.
Yeah, and what I'm mostly intrigued with on him, with him, guys, as I'm sure you guys have gathered by now, is not just, you know, is he calling something right, is he calling something wrong, you know, that simplistic. I want to see, like, how right is he, how wrong is he, right? And so when I see a
The
trap
market is
call
currently
that
showing
far,
strong
it's like,
alignment across all
shit.
time frames,
Oh
with
shit,
the
he's
5
8 out of
minutes,
10. Let's see.
1 minute, and 15 seconds perspectives,
We know we're
all
pretty
maintaining
OA,
a
right?
bullish
Your
structure
trade
above
was
their
there for
respective
OA.
trend indicators and the
So
1
let's see.
M-anchored VWAP. Price has successfully registered a series of
Now we
higher
did get a
highs,
breach
with
wick,
the most
so a
recent
pullback
expansion pushing
could
toward the
happen,
current
but
peak.
let's watch.
At 25,342.75, confirming aggressive buyer intent without immediate structural resistance. This represents a high probability continuation environment provided that the current consolidation above the recent breakout point holds. Sentiment. Bullish pressure. Confidence. 8 out of 10. Reason. Price is trading above the 1 minute and 5 minutes LSMA. The 1 minute EMA 200 and the anchored VWAP, confirming a clear bullish structural alignment. The recent ability to push to new highs indicates strong buying momentum and lack of significant supply in the immediate vicinity. Concerns. The market is currently operating within an inside range relative to
This
the most
high
recent
right here
price
is gonna be
swings
big.
and buying into an extended push.
Pull back there. and
Carries
a
the
bounce
risk of a
would
sharp
support
mean
the OA
reversion
theory.
pullback toward the 25,330 support area. Summary. The market is currently moving upward with steady strength across all key timeframes. Buyers are in control as the price is consistently staying above important support levels. While the trend is positive, it is
Okay, so
important
this
to
is
wait for a
normal,
slight dip before
But
looking
for
to join.
to get a big push, right?
The
we
move.
need a pull,
Always remain
push.
patient and avoid chasing the price when it moves quickly away from its average.
Not terrible
It's
advice.
doing exactly what it said. It said it pull back to 330 area.
You
Now
s-
let's see if it goes up.
So you notice how he's starting to call levels, right? And so what's funny is you might look at this normally and go, "Why is he saying 330 as a support? Like what in the world?" But he's got some of my logic in there, right? Which is we have highs, we broke above them, we need to come back and hold this as support. And so that's what he's. I'm with you, Cody. I want to see if we get that pull. If we get a deep push here, guys, I'm just like throw my hat and Guys, we're gonna start looking up. We're gonna close the session and just start looking up islands that we're gonna go buy here in a bit. We're gonna trade on the next step Algo Island, right? Let's do it. Oh man, I'm gonna stop this. But let's see, guys. Again, aside from what he's saying, right? We know that when we have expansion, we gotta try to hold these highs. We are losing it now. We have things 15-minute Lisma, 5-minute Lisma, 1-minute Lisma. Like this is massive support. This, based on the expansion, how it's going, what it looks like, should not break. We should bounce, right? If we breach wick this and close, this thing is gonna go way down, right? So, but any kind of pull here, now we've created a hammer off of a area of support. A close above there would give us our expansion. Is what you would look at. So let's take a look. Now the concern I would have is where we're rejecting on the 1 minute, right? It's still kind of trying to respect that channel, right? Which is why I still haven't deleted it. So let's see. Now if we hold above here, we have some nice little absorption. I do have some concerns of if this was going to be super bearish, why am I creating hammers, right? Or absorption style candles. We're still flat bottom on the 5 minute. Here's our doji set of the 5 minute. We did get a close above it. That usually suggests more northern. So I want to watch the micro and see staying above here, right? If you're one that wants to take more shorts, you got to wait till you at least breach wick here to get that kind of OA pulled down, right? Anything that's above here is so dangerous because remember the market wants to take the least path or the path of least resistance to liquidity, and this is going to be for sure some liquidity up here. You know, liquidity down here, right? So this is the least resistance. So it would make more sense for this to kind of jump up and then decide if it wants to drop, right? But we'll see. So just keep an eye on this DOM. Let's see what the DOM's doing.
The market is displaying a strong bullish bias on the macro 5-minute time frame, with
See
the
the
1 minute
jump?
chart experiencing a pullback that has produced a hammer formation. While the 15-second
he gave
time
an 8
frame
out of
shows
10.
immediate
He
bullish
said it'd
momentum,
pull back
the
before it
1-minute
goes.
chart has
I
not
don't
yet
know,
confirmed
guys.
a clear
That's an attaboy.
continuation by expanding beyond recent highs or shifting its Heiken Ashi to green, suggesting the bullish progression from the pullback is not fully validated for a high probability entry. Sentiment: bullish pressure, confidence, 6 out of 10. Reason: the 5 minutes LSMA and 1 minute LSMA. VWAP are bullish, indicating a strong underlying trend. The presence of a 1 minute hammer candle following a recent pullback suggests buying interest at lower levels, and the 15 seconds time frame is currently bullish, aligning with a potential upward move. Concerns: the 1 minute Heiken Ashi remains red,
Look at it
and
go.
price is currently contained
This
within
guy.
a recent range, inside range, which signifies that the pullback on this time frame has not fully concluded with a
That
confirmed
hit all my short
higher
range
high and
TPs.
expansion. This lack of clear 1 minute continuation after the pullback reduces immediate probability. Summary: the market's overall direction is pointing upwards based on the longer time frames. Recently, price took a small dip, but it looks like buyers stepped in to prevent further drops, forming a pattern that often signals a rebound. However, the price still needs to push past certain levels to confirm that the upward movement is truly back on track and not just a temporary pause in the dip. Therefore, while there are signs of strength, a clear green light for a big move isn't here yet.
A clear green light. Oh my god, this guy. Hold on, guys. All my TPs are just getting nailed right now, so I'm done with some of these accounts. So I'm up 500 on this one, 500 on this one, 300 on this one, because I'm just using low volume while I'm doing these sessions with you guys. So I'm done with that one. I'm just gonna close out some of these ones because we're at 10:30 anyway. So then let's talk about it. So yeah, I'm done with that one. My Lucid guys, I've just been, like I said, low volume scalps again. Remember this one right here, I was down $300 because of a stupid decision last night, which pre-market knows about. And so you think about it, I made 700 back on that one, and I'm 358 on this one. I really don't need to make more than 150 because they're already payable. I just took a payout on it yesterday because you remember they were at 57. And so again, continued feedback with Lucid, man. I feel like they're just a clone of my funded futures because they were first to do these things, but it was impressive, man. They updated their charts like 5, 10, 15, maybe 5, 15, something like that. I went in, did my stuff, submitted the payout, but by the time I hit submit,
I think it's right at 520.
yeah, I think it was like 515, 520. I can't remember. But right when I saw it and I went in, I literally hit submit, and I was talking to my wife real quick, and I looked over, and I was like, oh, let me check. I mean, it was like a minute, and I looked, and I was like, let me see if they approved it, and I was like, oh, it doesn't show approved, and I was like, oh, let me look at my bank yet. It was already in my bank, like within minutes. It was ridiculous. So I love those type of prop firms. So I will stick true to that for a while until I see something better. That I don't think there's much better out there right now than Lucid and My Funded. Those are my two favorite. Now there's just other ones I use for various reasons, but I want you guys to think about that, right? Like, again, I'm only, I mean, here it is, MNQ, like I'm not doing anything. I mean, look, I was even doing one, oh, this was my NQs from, when did I do this? Must have been last night. But MNQs, in the market open, right? And you think between the two accounts, I made $800 on just these ones, right? And so I probably won't take much more on that. I'm only going a little bigger because, as many of you know, and I know Cody, you're pushing through these, right? Like, if you take a 2K payout, I kind of want to get some of that back because math don't math, right? If I want to go 5 payouts, I have to make sure like 150 a day ain't gonna cut it, right? It's gonna get too close to my buffer for longevity, right? So there's got to be some days that I gotta, maybe get a couple hundred or 500, right? So that's why I was like, I'll push a little, even though I tell you guys don't. But most of it was on stuff I see, mixed with what Neo's saying, man. He's been on absolute point today. I mean, look at this, and he went 8 out of 10. 6 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 6 out of 10 on the bullish, guys. And for those joining on TikTok just now, right, this drop, he was like, oh, we're trapping, we're about to jump. And then he's been calling high confidence pushes all through this. Like,
the 5-minute time frame shows a bullish trend with the LSMA indicating upward momentum. The 1-minute time frame has recently formed higher highs and higher lows, confirming bullish progression. The 15-second time frame also displays bullish characteristics. Given the alignment across time frames and recent price action, this presents a potentially valid setup for continuation. Sentiment: bullish pressure. Confidence: 7 out of 10. Reason: the 5-minute and 1-minute time frames are aligned bullishly, with the 1-minute showing clear higher highs and higher lows. The 15-second time frame also indicates upward movement. Concerns: the 1-minute breaking Heiken Ashi high is noted as inside range, which suggests a potential pause or consolidation before further expansion. Summary: the market is showing signs of moving higher across multiple timeframes. Recent price action on the shorter timeframes confirms this upward direction. This suggests a potential opportunity for buyers to take control and push prices higher. However, there is a minor indication of a pause in momentum which traders will monitor.
Well, and he's not wrong, right? So minor pause, right? We have that. So this is where I see that as, okay, let me take my micro. I know of a push, we're kind of paralleling. A breach wick here, close above, would be what he's talking about, validation. Right, for that. I would not even entertain shorts still unless we breach this little cluster of mess, right? Again, guys, if you don't have it and you have trouble identifying areas of OA I refer to, which is open air, this one is amazing, flow trading. So it gives me such a clear picture of, you know, strong support, strong resistances, OA, things like that. So,
Hey Nick, I got two questions
what's up?
or 2 points. One is on a Friday we would pump and dump, right? Secondly, when he called out that 25,330, I set a small quick scalp at 25,334, and it was perfect. Absolutely
He was pretty
perfect.
close. We got to 27.50. He said he called 30 before it bounced.
So 2 points there.
No, very cool, man. I love it. Love the feedback. So you're not wrong, right? In our mindset, we always want to talk about Fridays and how, you know, people love to interpret it as pump and dump. There's a few things that you've got to remember though as you're thinking that. One, don't create too much of a bias on it, because I'm gonna adjust that. Breach wick, close above, should push to back. We're just in a different environment right now, right? Because we are in a deep bounce on a call that I've been telling you guys since like December, that was going to be a blow off top, that a lot of people told me I was a terrible trader and wrong, that we're going to the floor, and we're in that deep bounce, man. So anything short up here, we should be invalidating shorts like crazy. I mean, we're going to oscillate, right? You know, we can still go up, we should still go down, right? But you know, the best way to do it is right now is to just take scalps, right? If you're going to short, just do quick scalps. You know, don't squeeze for too much, right? Oh shit! Actually, okay, cool. So what I did on this one, right, is, so let me interpret this for myself. And again, I'm looking at Neo saying, man, he's pretty confident we're still have bullish pressure. So I had a kind of a little risk of what I did, where as this came down like this, we pushed back up. Once I reclaimed that low and got a close, right, I tapped back in on my other lucid on there, and I did a double volume, so it was 4 MNQ, and it just hit my TP. So now that one's at 502. So I'm done with that one. I'm cool with 500 on that one. I don't need to do any more for Friday. So probably won't do more on this one, but I may. If I see something I really like, you know, in the afternoon session, then I may do that.
The market structure remains bullish across all
Yeah,
time
the ATM
frames,
is good.
as price currently trades above the 5 M and 1 minute EMA 200 and the 1 minute anchored VWAP. While the most recent price
This retest is
action
huge.
shows a
If it
consolidation
collapses, guys, it's
phase
gonna
with
drop
minor
hard.
pullbacks, the inability to break below the 1 minute EMA 200 suggests that buyers are maintaining control, though the lack of clear expansion beyond the most recent push indicates indecision in the current range. Sentiment: bull-ish pressure.
Bull.
Confidence:
Ish.
6 out of 10. Reason: price is holding above significant structural supports, including the 1 minute and 5 minutes EMA 200, and the overall slope of the LSMA remains positive across the board. Concerns: price is currently stuck inside a range without clear expansion, and the recent red color in the 1 minute Heiken Ashi data indicates that momentum is slowing down, increasing the risk of a deeper pullback. Summary: the market is currently showing a positive trend, meaning prices are generally moving upward. Even though the price is resting and not making big moves right now, it is staying above important support levels. This indicates that buyers are still in control, but you should wait for a clear move higher before considering any action. Be patient and watch too. See if the price can break out of its current resting range before making a decision.
So he's talking about, you know, kind of in here, right? This is our resting range, and he's not wrong. I love even the verbiage, like the terminology he's using, because we push, now we came back, now it's resting. It's not really showing strength, but it's not showing the weakness for him to lower the confidence, which he's not wrong, right? We have a bull flag breakout. We're retesting that low. Any kind of higher low here with a close above is going to give us our propulsion of the bull flag, right? If you take a safer play, he's talking about we're resting here. He'll reference things in the 15 second you'll notice, but he's supposed to, when he looks for things like that, like resting or whatever, it's more, I think, at least knowing behind the curtain, right, that it's supposed to be more on the 1 minute, right? So, because that's where we execute the trades most of the time, right? And so we have a hammer here, we have a doji. We never got to close above the hammer, so a close above that hammer would pressure up. Anything short of that, right? If we breach wick Lisma and a close below, we're coming to the 200, right? And so that's kind of what that's being interpreted as. If you think about it on the micro, this is why I love looking at the 15 second. We now are push, couldn't breach the high, we dropped. Now we're creating absorption. Close above that will give propulsion, right? For those that kind of look at it that way. So let's see if we get that close. Guys, it's 10:42. The open session is gonna shut down at 11. Holy cow, did news just drop? Damn Trump. Check his tweets. Check his tweets.
I don't know what that was, but I was short to the 200, so thank you for whatever that was.
That's so funny, man. Trump out here putting out something, watch. Yeah, so we just hit that 200, guys. This is going to be big because that could be a stop hunt. Right, so here's how you treat those crazy candles. When they come out of nowhere like that, there's no way anybody could determine that, right? That it's going to go that quick, even if you're trying to chase the 200 on there, right? But if it sweeps this and we reclaim this low, that now becomes a stop hunt and we about to go, right? So right now we're kind of in a bounce off the 200. You can take something like this on the 1 minute, now that we see a little violence in that sell. This would be your safer play. You would want to bounce off the 200, a push, breach wick here, and then that close would be your propulsion. Anything short of that, guys, we're if we create a breach wick here, close, then it's going to come and retest this trend line again. So let's take a look and see. Here's what I love about watching Neo, right? He has 1 minute. What does he say now that he sees this shit? Guys, in seconds, we literally dropped $50. I want to know how he interprets this, right? That's what fascinates me, because even as a trader, I mean, when things are going good, I mean, it's not that hard to call it, right? But how do you interpret it when things are not going the way that they should or going good, right? To me, that's just as important, if not more, right? So let's see. Anytime I have these big high push and drops, right, we create a high and a low, we're internal. Close below there, we're dropping. Close above here, we're pumping. So we're just internal now. So let's watch this. Let's see what he says. I'm curious. Oh, you got a little pause there. Spit it out.
The market is currently exhibiting bearish characteristics across the 5 minutes and 1 minute timeframes as price remains below the 1 minute LSMA and maintains a downward bias against the 5 minutes LSMA, while the 1 minute anchored VWAP provides a potential support floor near the 25,310 level, the inability of the most recent price.
So 310.
Action to sustain a recovery above prior highs indicates a lack of buying conviction. The current structure is characterized by lower lows and failed rallies, suggesting the path of least resistance remains to the downside. Sentiment: bearish pressure, confidence, 6 out of 10. Reason: the market has failed to reclaim critical moving average levels, and price is consistently putting in lower highs and lower lows
Careful,
on the
guys.
1 minute chart.
See
The
this?
bearish
We
alignment between
breach
the
this,
5
and it's gonna jump
M
again.
and 1 minute LSMA underscores the prevailing selling intent. Concerns: price is hovering near the 1 M anchored VWAP,
There's our breach
which is a
wick,
level
see?
where buyers may attempt to defend the current range. A breakdown below this support is required for further bearish confirmation. Summary: the market is currently moving in a downward direction, meaning sellers are in control. It is safer to wait for price to show a clear, sustained move lower
Breach
before
wick, close
considering
above,
any new
we'll go
positions.
up.
If the price does not fall past the current support
Let's
level,
watch.
it is better to stay on the sidelines. Avoid trying to guess a reversal until the current downward trend shows clear signs of failing.
So again, I love that. If you guys haven't noticed, you know, he didn't do that in the beginning. He's starting to recognize levels. You notice that? Like, he called that 310 level, like, where was it? Right here. Right? So it was before we even kind of hit it and jumped, right? So we hit here at 314. The low was 306, and that was 311. So he kind of threw out a 310 level. It held, and we jumped. So I would love to see if yet again, even though he has a little confidence of the bearish pressure. Remember, the confidence is just him saying, how much is aligning supporting the bearish pressure? It doesn't mean that we're going south, right? Necessarily. You want to look at the concerns of things. So his concern is like, I see the pressure, it looks good, high confidence of going south, but we got to breach that 310 level because buyers might come in and push that back up again as they've done it a few times today. And so you always want to kind of like really listen to everything that he says, right? Don't just hear the one thing or two things you want to hear, right? So in a nutshell, he's saying, you know, the Bears are in control, which, I mean, he probably sees that and is like, Bears are coming in, right? But that 310 level has got to breach, and we didn't breach it, and look at, we're jumping. It's crazy to see that he called that yet again. Now, you guys know my logic, which is if you're going to take some OA type of play, the safer play is you need to get a close above there, right? At least I'd say 340, right? To take that long. Anything short of that, now we're doji, right? We push for us to do a breach wick. We pulled back a little. Now we kind of breached it again. We're pulling again for us to pull back even down to here. You know, it's kind of within range. But if the bulls want to show any kind of strength to push it again, you know, keep creating a higher low here would be ideal to push up, get the close above. That would be best with strength. If it gets a pull back here and absorbs with strength, then I'm okay with that as well. But if we get a full collapse, guys, and we look back like this, if we come down in here and we breach with these things like that and we get below that 310, right, prior daily highs is likely where we're going. That's the liquidity it's going to chase. So, but it's definitely getting into a very indecisive area. I'm going to mute him, guys, and I'm just going to, for those that are watching him, you guys can watch it on your own screens. I'm just going to kind of block him a little bit so y'all don't see it. I think you did awesome, man. I don't know if you guys want to share your thoughts. Guys, it's Friday. He's had a full week. Y'all have had a full week of following him. If you guys want to give any kind of feedback on him, thoughts, you can give suggestions, right? Because we're going to go do a meeting at 1 o'clock today, and so I can bring those if it's something that we can do, we'll do. Those suggestions can include maybe how he interprets stuff or how we display this, right? Like the actual overall display, because we're continuously monitoring that. Currently, I like it how it is, but I'd love to hear what you guys think on that. So anybody want to kind of share their thoughts of how he did this week or give some suggestions?
I think it's awesome. You kind of touched on it earlier, like you're going to give him kind of grades on his calls, but are there parameters you guys can put in so that it grades itself?
Eventually. So, and some things that you guys might have ideas for are plans, right? But it's kind of like, I love analogies, right? And so think of you as like a new trader. If you came in and you started to learn trend lines and you started to learn support and you started to learn resistance and you're like, okay, I'm starting to kind of understand this. And then I would say, okay, cool. Now that you're starting to understand it, I need you to tell me every call that you do, how do you grade yourself as far as what that call is doing, right? Or percentage, or like, hey, Brant, man, you're just figuring out trend lines, but like, what's your probability you think that it's going to go there? You're going to be like, bro, I just figured out trend lines, right? So that's kind of the way I can think about it, like, because I know he's AI, he's going to think quicker, smarter, faster, all that. But I go back to my other analogy of Alex yelled at me when I tried to feed our child with a shovel. He's like, bro, use a spoon. What are you doing? And so, but yeah, there's plans of that. You've already kind of seen a little bit of that because remember, for like the first 3 days, he never threw out levels. We told him to use caution. Don't throw out some actual specific numbers until you build enough logic and confidence within those numbers, right? It's kind of like where we went with it, right? And so as he gets more confident, you're going to see more things, right? Now, to elaborate on your thought of giving you kind of a little context of why we're already thinking of that is this trading algo AI add-on. Like I said, we're gonna. I don't know what it entirely looks like yet, but our plan is we're gonna look for the best indicators we have that have really good logic or rules, meaning like, you know, like this one, the adaptive liquidity framework. We know if we get a bounce off the 200 with coming out of blue candles with a close above Lisma, right? Then that's a pretty good long setup. And so we're gonna take things like that. We may even let Neo kind of like tell us, right? Like look at this push, because you know, what I want him to do is say like, hey, look at the rules of this indicator. Hell, look at the code, right? Like here's the code for you. Where's the best probability that you think, based on what you know, based on what you see on this indicator, that gives the highest probability of entry, right? And then we're going to take some logic like that, and Paul will add an alert. So when you guys go into your indicator, you're going to come here, you click an alert, and then you'll have instructions, kind of like we've done in the past, right? Where you have instructions of where to send it, like the webhook or whatever. And then the idea is you're going to send that to Neo, and within, you know, seconds, he's pretty quick, right? It fires the alert, he gets it, and he's gonna spit back, hey, you know, I see this is lining up based on what I know on this indicator. Here's a 60% probability of this playing out, or 90% probability of playing out, right? Like, we're gonna give him the ability to take all of the structure, what he knows, support, resistance, just all the stuff that he's learning, and then kind of correlate that to the indicator, right? And I love, that was an idea that I brought it up to Alex as a, like, you know, it'd be cool. And I never really know what he brushes off, you know, when I say that, because sometimes he's like, dude, stop it. But he actually came back and he's like, you know, I tested it and like, yeah, it'll work. Like, we could do that. And I was like, dude. And think about how many times have I said indicators are cool, but you can build as much logic as you want around it and be like, oh yeah, this trap one always does, or always this. There's no indicator out there that always does it. And there's no setup that is the same setup as far as probability that it's going to actually work, right? And that's where us as just humans, right, we make mistakes with that. And so if we can integrate Neo to tell you, hey, the indicator's working, it's gonna be legit. So we have plans as far as that, you know, like to let him make that decision. But any other thoughts, feedbacks, guys? Feedbacks. I can't talk today on Friday. It's Friday. It's been a long week. Has he helped you guys out? You guys see a little more profitability this week than normal? A little consistency, payouts, pass. You know.
We actually have actually looking into the analyzing market, looking for calm. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Not panicking or getting antsy about it. I feel calm, to be honest, more calm.
Yeah, like a more like validation, right? And so that's awesome. And guys, that's my goal, you know. I mean, I've talked to many of you on the side, and I know you guys post in the chats and stuff, so, you know, I know a lot of you are more green than you've seen in the past, which is great. You know, that's the plan. He's going to grow. He's going to continue to evolve. It's just going to get better from here, guys. So, you know, just stick around. Those on TikTok, if you guys want to come in, you guys can register for free. Yes, free is free. No, you don't have to link a credit card. No, I'm not selling your email. I feel like I have to do this like disclaimer at the end of that free, because I keep getting people go like, free, so what's the catch? There's no catch. Like just it's free. It's spread out, you know, while we're in beta. So just register, come on in. Guys, TikTok I'm gonna drop off. We got about 4 minutes. If you guys want to check us out, nextstepalgo.com, come on in. Otherwise, have a great weekend for you guys on TikTok. I'll be possibly live again, maybe through the weekend, just kind of talking about some things here and there, or maybe Sunday Asia. We'll see. So, but awesome to see Neo grow. So I'm gonna drop this off. TikTok, you guys have a great weekend. Also, I keep referring to TikTok, but I forgot we're live on YouTube.